Well, welcome to Christ and Culture. This is Pastor Jeff Short again with another discussion about a timely cultural issue from a Christian biblical worldview. Today we're going to be talking about the misguided thinking and activity of some women down in Texas who are really trying to deal with the Texas pro-life laws that are now in place down there. And what they're doing is they are taking this so far is that they are trying to actually help women cross state lines to get their abortions because they can't get their abortion in Texas anymore. So now they're going to help the women cross state lines to go into another state to get abortions. And they do it with almost like as a righteous cause. So they're so misguided. They're so misled by this whole cultural death philosophy that they're willing to essentially go into helping women facilitate these abortions by providing rides for them and working out all the arrangements for them to go to another state. This is so sick and twisted. And we're going to look at this article that shows, and the headlines there, as you can see, is how a Planned Parenthood in El Paso is dealing with the Texas abortion ban. And it shows how they're trying to basically circumvent this law. Now, if you remember, Texas has a super strict abortion law. They're trying to stop the killing of unborn children. So let's get that right out in the open. Abortion is the taking of an innocent human life. It's the taking of an innocent baby's life for whatever reason the mother might have. And so these women in this Texas abortion clinic have been basically essentially put out of business because they can't have abortions done there anymore because of this Texas state law. So now they're recruiting women to almost like a ride share, a carpool thing. They recruit women to go have an abortion at a nearby state. And they work it out all logistically, and they think that this is a great human rights cause, they think. And it just shows you how misguided, it shows you how twisted. Here's a picture of a woman here being interviewed, and she says, "We knew this was a basic human right, and it's being limited, a basic human right." So killing an unborn baby is a basic human right in the eyes of these misguided women. We're going to see and we're going to hear about their story, and we're going to show you how there's a passage in Proverbs that talks about there is a way that seems right to a man, but the end thereof is the way of death. There's a way that seems right to someone. There's a way that seems right to a person. It sounds right, it seems right, it looks right, it feels right. There's a way that seemeth right unto man, but the end thereof is the way of death. And this is application here. You couldn't think of a better application. And so we're going to explore what they're doing and why they are so misguided. So let's go down to the article. It says here how a Planned Parenthood in El Paso is dealing with the Texas abortion law. Miranda Aguirre, a Latina born and raised in the border community of El Paso, Texas, has dedicated her life to giving back to her hometown. So you say, oh, that sounds like a good cause. She's giving back to her hometown. No, it's actually she's helping kill kids. She's helping kill babies through abortion. Aguirre runs the only Planned Parenthood in the city, providing reproductive health resources to anyone. See, again, that is a lie. That is a euphemism. reproductive health services means they're killing babies. It's not a reproductive health issue. It's not about reproduction. These women don't have problem reproducing. They don't have health issues. It's not about a problem with reproductive health. They're healthy enough to reproduce. They're doing exactly what God created the human body to do. They're reproducing after they have sex. These women have had sex. They've gotten pregnant. The only problem here is they want to kill their baby. They want to escape the consequences of their actions, their immoral actions, most of them. In the last 5 months, her staff, a majority of whom are Latina, have been helping women seeking abortions find care. Again, euphemism. Something that sounds good. There is a way that seemeth right, the Bible talks about. So they're cloaking these terrible deeds. Abortion is murder. They're cloaking them in euphemisms. They're helping women find abortion care. No, they're helping women kill their babies, their own offspring. Since Texas implemented an abortion law known as Senate Bill 8. This is the one that all the liberals, all the progressives, all the Democrats, and if you don't think the Democratic Party is evil, look at what they're doing here. The Democrats are fighting this bill. This bill restricts abortions in Texas. This bill prevents abortions in Texas. And yet the Democrats hate this bill because it limits abortions. They want kids killed. They want parents killing their children. That is evil. The new law is considered by many to be the most restrictive in the country. Yay, good. This is sanity. Restricting murder is sanity. Any culture that promotes murder will fall. Any culture that protects the life of innocent people, however small they are, is going to be blessed by God. So Texas is restricting abortion in its state. It's the most restrictive in the whole country. It bans abortions at the point at which an ultrasound can detect a fetal heartbeat, which is usually around 6 weeks into pregnancy. Good. Fantastic. This is what we as Christians have been praying for. That's a positive thing. But this article, it's a negative thing. However, many women don't know they're pregnant within the first few weeks. That's okay. You know, ignorance is no excuse before the law. We know that in the legal system. It's taught in the Bible. Just because you don't know something is wrong. If you don't know that you're pregnant, if you're sleeping with your boyfriend and you get pregnant and you don't know that you're pregnant for the first few weeks, hey, what difference does that make? You have already conceived and you are now carrying around your child. This is a child. This is a flesh and blood human person. Not fully developed, of course. But again, a person born at birth, a baby born at birth is not fully developed. Their brain is not fully developed. The brain takes, decades to do that. A person's brain isn't fully developed until they're probably into their early 20s. The challenges Aguirre and her colleagues face give a window into the future of much of the country if the Supreme Court overturns Roe v. Wade 49 years after it was decided and removes the constitutional right to an abortion. Okay, so the liberals are scared. They're anxious. They're frantic. They're panicking. They're afraid that the Supreme Court is going to reverse Roe v. Wade, and there is a good chance that that'll happen. We have been praying for that. I have been praying for that for about at least 20 years. I remember when I went to college as a young man, I knew nothing about abortion. I There was no reason for me to know much about it. I could care less. It was just something I had heard about, but I didn't really understand what it was. I went to college at Wheaton College. There was a group there called the Illinois Citizens for Life. And I said, that should be interesting. Let me just check out what that is. I went into one of the meetings. They were describing what abortion was. I couldn't believe it. I was flummoxed, flabbergasted, shocked. I couldn't believe that in a civilized society, they actually allowed women to kill their babies in the womb. The murder is taking place right inside the woman. Think about that. In abortion, a woman comes in to a doctor, so-called doctor, abortionist, and asks that abortionist to kill their baby right while they're there. So this murder is taking place right inside their womb. The very place where this life was conceived, the very place where this new, precious, made in the image of God life came into being. Now the mother of that child, in the ultimate betrayal, is going to have that baby murdered right there in her womb. This is unthinkable, and yet I was shocked. I could not believe it. I began to read up. I think I ordered about 5 to 10 books. Began to read up on what abortion was, and I've never been the same since. I just never could believe, I never can believe even now, that a woman would do such a terrible thing, an awful thing. I remember the words of Mother Teresa, the late Mother Teresa, Catholic nun that went to India to work with the suffering and the poor. She said, if a mother will kill her own baby, what worse could happen? I mean, we've come to a really bad place in society where women will kill their own babies. And that's been taking place for almost 50 years now. And what's even more shocking is people are still defending this barbaric atrocity. The challenges Aguirre and her colleagues face give a window into the future of much of the country if the Supreme Court overturns Roe v. Wade. Yes, they're worried about what's going to happen. It says that the court's conservative majority appears likely to uphold a Mississippi law that bans abortion after 15 weeks of pregnancy, while legal challenges to the law in Texas have not yet reached the court. So a number of states are starting to say, look, this has got to go. Abortion's got to go. That's one of the slogans. That's one of the chants at the March for Life that occurs in January every year in Washington, D.C. I've attended the March for Life a number of different times. And one of the chants we all say together, the hundreds of thousands of people, is ho, ho, hey, 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 ho, ho, abortion's got to go. Or hey, hey, ho, ho, Roe v. Wade has got to go. You know, that's one of the, it's got to go. And it does, because it is a law, a bad decision by the Supreme Court. It's the worst one that the Supreme Court's ever made. In 1973, Justice Harry Blackmun wrote the opinion. The majority of the court legalized abortion in all 50 states. Instead of letting the states regulate it, it'd be better to have it totally banned, but if you have to have it, at least let the different states regulate it so they can ban it if they want to. And that's what is at stake right now before the Supreme Court. We have a majority, a slim majority, conservative justices on the bench. That's primarily why they're there, because of the abortion issue. Pro-life Christians like myself, well, all Christians who, real Christians, are pro-life. All Christians have voted for more conservative justices so that they might overturn Roe v. Wade. That's why we put them on the bench. why we vote presidents to select them. And so we're nearing the point where it's going to actually be a reality. Now, I'm not sure I want to get my hopes all up and hopes high and then be defeated again, because we've seen this in the pro-life movement. We've asked presidents to appoint Supreme Court justices who are pro-life, and they've appointed bad justices. Half of the appointees by Supreme Court justices of conservative presidents have been bad. Many of them have flipped over to the pro-abortion side. It's been one thing after another. Finally, I think we might have enough to overturn the Roe v. Wade abortion decision. And what that would do is send it back to the states. It's not the perfect solution, but it is a solution, and it's a big step forward. Here's what these misguided pro-abortion, Latina women down at this abortion clinic are feeling. We all felt defeated. We knew that this basic right that any person should have is being limited. It isn't a basic right. Killing your offspring is not a basic right. It is against human rights. A basic right is everyone deserves life. If you look in the Declaration of Independence, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, endowed by the Creator with certain inalienable rights, including life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So these are the basic human rights. This woman doesn't know she doesn't know what a human right is. She's been told that abortion is a basic human right. That is incorrect. There is no inherent, built-in, essential, natural, or divine right to an abortion. I don't know where she got that idea. She heard it from some pro-choice, pro-abortion activist, but this is not a human right. Abortion is not a human right. It is an anti-human right. A human right is the right to life. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. How can you pursue happiness if you're dead? How can you have liberty if you're dead? Liberty has no meaning if you don't have your life. So the human life and the rights around human life are the central human rights. And that's why we fight for the right for life. But she is saying we all felt defeated when this new abortion law went into effect. We knew that this was a basic right. You didn't know it because it isn't. So you were wrong there, that any person should have. That's wrong. Nobody should have it. And it's being limited. Yes, it's being limited. Correctly so. Just the way we limit murder of 2-year-olds, we limit the murder of 20-year-olds, 22-year-olds, we limit the murder of 52-year-olds. The law delimits rights, and you cannot murder someone. Aguirre said clinics like Planned Parenthood are crucial for communities of color. Her clinic is often the main health care center for uninsured, low-income, and immigrant Latinas. Health care center? Again, euphemisms. You are there for the purpose of killing babies. This has nothing to do about health care. Abortion is not a health care issue. Women who carry children are not at any more health risk than any other women who carry children. And if they're concerned about the health of them carrying their child, they need to be consulting with a doctor, helping walk the mother through her pregnancy. But you don't solve a health situation by killing the child in the womb. Yes, a pregnant woman will undergo changes in her health. There will be days when she will have morning sickness. There will be days when her back will hurt because of that extra weight of her baby on her frame. There are health issues, but these are pregnancy issues. And you don't go to an abortionist to solve a pregnancy issue. You go to a doctor to solve the pregnancy issue. He will help you deal with the pregnancy. And they're trying to link this up now with race. They're trying to make this a racial thing, an ethnic thing. Oh, we're serving women of color. They're killing babies that are Black and Hispanic, Latina, Asian. Yeah, there are ethnically diverse women in the community, and they all get pregnant at some point, and they're low income, and they're immigrant. Yeah, that's right. And we should be helping them through their pregnancy, helping them as much as we can. But killing their baby is not helping them, and helping their baby, certainly not helping their baby. Leaving El Paso in any way you go, there's a border patrol checkpoint. So that's an added pressure on a lot of patients. Good. We want to make it hard to kill your babies. Because they're like, do I try to terminate this pregnancy to potentially put myself at risk for deportation? No, don't terminate the pregnancy. Never terminate the pregnancy, whether you are deported back or not. Since the law took effect September 2021, Aguirre said any patients who are more than 6 weeks pregnant have to travel hours away in order to access abortion care, but for many, that's impossible. The clinic is providing gas cards, funding for food, and hotel stays for women to travel to their nearest Planned Parenthood in New Mexico. So they're enabling these women to kill their baby. They're thinking they're doing something good. They're thinking they're helping people. They are misguided beyond words. From El Paso to Albuquerque, it's still a 4-hour drive, Aguirre said. The other obstacle is getting soonest appointment. So here are these women, the staff of the Planned Parenthood Center in El Paso, Texas, and they think they're doing something righteous in helping women murder their babies. What does the Bible say? There's a way that seems right to a person, but the end thereof is the way of death. They think they're doing right. They think they're helping the person, and it's only leading to death. As for non-citizens living in El Paso, she said many of her patients do not have the choice to leave the city. She fears people will be faced with either going through a forced pregnancy. A forced pregnancy. You mean a woman who is pregnant, carrying that baby, giving birth to that baby, that's called a forced pregnancy? No, that's called the natural process. That's called the God-given natural pregnancy process. It's not forced because the woman consented to the sex beforehand. She knew the risks. She got pregnant, and now nature is taking its course. It's not being forced upon her. Getting an illegal abortion that comes with other risks. It should come with other risks. Aguirre's clinic provides services to Mexican residents living on the other side of the border in Juarez. If those patients can't receive abortion care in El Paso, they will not be able to travel out of the state for it like others due to their immigration status. We have patients that come to us from Juarez, Mexico, because abortion is still illegal in the city of Juarez. Good! Praise the Lord. That's good news. I'm glad that Mexico still has some of these cities illegal abortion, because abortion is still illegal in Juarez, our sister city. And they're coming to us and they're like, if you can't see us, we have no other option. Yes, you do. Carry the child to full term and then give it up for adoption if you don't want it, but don't kill your babies. Data from the Texas Health and Human Services Commission shows that abortions in the state fell by 60% in the first month since SB 8 took effect. That is good news. Yay, God. Praise the Lord. In the same month, Planned Parenthood health centers in surrounding states saw a 1,082% increase. Wait a minute. 1,082% increase in patients with Texas zip code. Oh, okay. Patients. What I don't understand, that's a big percentage. So what it's showing is that people are going, women, again, I won't use their words, but women are going to neighboring states to have their abortions. That is sad. And here's this misguided Miranda health center manager for Planned Parenthood. She thinks she's doing a good job, and she's really facilitating death. She is a agent of death, a death angel, a death demon, I might say. She's a demon of death, helping women kill their babies. Aguirre said that prior to the state's law implementation, several Planned Parenthood clinics in the surrounding states were preparing to accept the high volume of patients that Texas was not going to be able to take in. So, Texas Governor Greg Abbott, Republican, has defended the law, which does not provide exceptions for cases of rape or incest, saying it does not force victims to give birth, even though it prohibits abortions before some women know they're pregnant. Again, that is irrelevant whether women know they're pregnant. During the governor's first press conference since the law took effect, September 8, 2021, Abbott said that his state would eliminate all rapists from the streets. So that's the solution. You go against crime, you don't go against the babies, the innocent victims. For Aguirre, it has been painful to have to deny women their access to safe abortions. Painful for the child, though. Less painful for the child, because the child now can live unless they go across state lines. We had a patient who knew that she was probably past the 6 weeks based off her last menstrual cycle. Unfortunately, there are cardiac activity on the ultrasound. Unfortunately, there was cardiac activity on the ultrasound. That's supposed to be a good thing. When you see cardiac activity and there's a little tiny human life inside, that's a good thing. And now she's saying, unfortunately, there is a cardiac activity on the ultrasound. These people are twisted and perverse. And she needed that confirmation so that she could also know what she needed to do moving forward. No, you don't need any more information. You just respect the life within you. It was a pregnancy she did not want to keep. That's not her choice. You cannot determine life and death just by yourself. You need God to sanction whatever happens, and he does not sanction abortions. And unfortunately, her partner was not aware of it, because if he became aware she was pregnant, he would force her to keep the pregnancy. You mean the father of the baby would want to have the baby? Oh boy, the language twisting is incredible. Abortions are essential. Abortion is essential access. There is no stigma in getting. Yes, there is. This is sad. This is unfortunate. And we have a society now that calls up, down, up, and right, wrong, and wrong, right. And it's all twisted. But we need to pray that this Roe v. Wade is reversed and that abortions are outlawed in this country eventually. Keep those in your prayers. Well, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you back next week. God bless.